Hi guys, Michael Fights with Friends here. We all watched the fight last night, Jeremy Stephens versus Josh Emmett, or all of those of you that were on the Fight Companion did. Please hit that like and subscribe button if you're new here. But let's get into this. The main event, of course, Jeremy Stephens, big win for him over Josh Emmett. There was a lot of controversy about it due to what seemed like illegal shots that weren't called by the referee. Strikes and questions, of course, were elbows to the back of Emmett's head, and also Stephens throwing a knee to a downed opponent. There's an argument whether or not the knee actually landed, and it was kind of frustrating as we were watching last night that it seemed like all the replays we seen were only from one angle that didn't really give us a very good picture of whether the knee landed or not, and there was even an argument between Daniel Cormier and Dominic Cruz about a lot of it in the booth. As for the legality of the actual knee itself, Dominic Cruz, which full disclosure is a teammate of Jeremy Stephens, argued that it doesn't matter because it didn't hurt Emmett and it was illegal shots that finished the fight. Cormier took the other side. He said whether or not it was the most damaging shot or not, it clearly wasn't. It was still illegal, so the referee should have called him up. Bisping and Cruz continued arguing with Cormier about the legality and whether it even landed, but the one thing they could agree on was that it was on the referee, not Stephens, to stop the contest. Well, that's pretty obvious to me. I mean, you can't expect a fighter to say, oh, yeah, I think I might have accidentally landed an illegal shot. As far as the elbows, some of them possibly hitting the back of his head. His head was moving around a lot. And people that aren't fighters can sit and watch that all day. And let's see you try to hit a moving target. These guys train all the time. I know, on double in bags and all kinds of different things. But when you're in the middle of the heat of a fight for your life, and you know you might have a chance of ending this, and you're throwing elbows, I mean, that guy's movement, you're not 100% accurate on everything. If you were, people would land every shot exactly where they wanted to. There would never be any low blows, So that's kind of ridiculous. And you have to look at the movement of Josh Emmett's head and the intent of the shots. I think it seemed like Jeremy Stephens would have got the knockout either way. But, that's the way it is. So there was a thing on Bloody Elbow saying Stephens misunderstood the new rules. The illegal knee wasn't thrown accidentally or in the heat of the moment. Stephens spoke about his actions, saying it was clearly his intention to land the knee, but it seems like he had misunderstood the new rules that are in place. And here's the other side of this. They're having different rules state to state, and it's absolute madness that these commissions and the UFC can't get together and have a unified set of rules. Apparently some states have adopted the new rules to where an opponent on one knee can be kneed if they're trying to get up, because too many opponents were trying to just put their hand down very quickly to avoid getting kneed. I don't know what the case was here, but in Florida, they're saying, knees to a down opponent, period, pretty much, or it's an illegal strike. Stephens says, I'm not a dirty fighter. I never have been in my whole life. I saw an opportunity. I was looking for it. Guys, never had any kind of controversy like this that I'm aware of. It's likely a disconnect during the conversations Stephens mentioned. The Fox crew didn't mention or correct him on these. So I kind of felt like it was their place to get in there and try to get a better idea of what he was saying. But, their intention a lot of times, even the ex-fighters and stuff, they know how to get ratings, and they want people to say certain things. So maybe that's why they didn't stop him, or, maybe it was just an oversight. If the opponent is on his knees like Emmett was, he actually is a grounded fighter, and he cannot be kicked or kneed in the head regardless of his hand position. So that's the Florida rules. Like I said, from state to state, they're different. So it seems like there was no malice in there. Stephens' knee was both illegal, and by his account, which I didn't hear last night, was intentionally thrown. It wasn't a poor decision made at the heat of the moment while trying to finish the fight. This is what MMA Junkie argues. I don't know, man. It's instinct. It's instinct. You're putting these guys in a street fight in the middle of the cage for their life, and you're expecting them to fight under a certain amount of rules. You're going to have things like this. I don't think that this is a huge deal. Urijah Faber, who's been very vocal since retiring, said Dominic Cruz and Michael Bisping are effing blind. That's what he said on Instagram. That was a knee to the back of the head. I didn't see an angle that showed that. Maybe he's seen an angle that I didn't. An illegal knee to the illegal back of the head. Give me a friggin' break. Congratulations to Stevens. He fought a good one. Faber and Team Alpha Male obviously weren't happy about the controversial sequence, and the team has informed MMA Fighting that they plan to appeal the loss. Well, no surprise here that Dominic Cruz, that trains with Jeremy Stevens would kind of be on his side, and Team Alpha Male that trains with Josh Emmett are going to be on their side. You're going to look for supporting facts for your cause, and I mean that's the way it is in anything. That's the way it's always going to be. But this new disunified rules, as I will call it, it's just simply confusing to everyone. I've even seen points where there's referees that don't exactly know what's going on. Instant replay is available in some states and not in others. Of course, when there is an instant replay, the fight, it's got to be on something like this as to the decision of a fight. You can't have an instant replay and then continue the fight. Once they call for the instant replay, the fight is over. And then something like this, if there were an overturn, I would assume that it would, at worst for Jeremy Stevens, be a no contest. The commission has very, very rarely overturned anything. I can only think of one instance ever, and that was Invicta, the Invicta FC champ that recently came over and fought Chris Cyborg in her last fight. Tanya Evinger, I want to say her name is. She had one overturned and got her belt back in Invicta, and that allowed her to come to the UFC and have Cyborg kick her ass. But either way, let me know what you guys think about it. What can they do to get these rules uniform as quickly as possible? Do you think it was a big deal? Do you think it was just a heat of the moment thing and live and let live? Or do you think Josh Emmett has a legitimate challenge to this and that this should be overturned either to a no contest or even a loss and disqualification for Jeremy Stevens, as we've seen way back with John Jones and Matt Hamill, which in my mind was one of the worst decisions I've ever seen. But that's my opinion. I want to know your opinion. Put it down there in the comments. Like I said, please give me a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you guys later.